Hey there, friends. Today we're diving deep into a topic that touches most of our lives, niceness. But not just any kind of niceness, the kind that could be silently chipping away at your well-being. Imagine this. It's a sunny Saturday morning, and you've planned to finally start that book you've been putting off for months. But then your phone buzzes. It's a friend asking for help moving, again. You say yes without hesitation, pushing your plans aside. Sound familiar? This is where the danger lurks. Today, we're going to explore the fine line between being a good friend and sacrificing yourself on the altar of other people's needs. We live in a world that has a sweet tooth for niceness. From the time we're young, we're taught that being nice is the golden ticket to acceptance and success. The nicer you are, the more people will like you, they say. But when does this niceness start to sour? We'll sift through societal expectations and uncover how they shape our understanding of what it means to be too nice. Keep the tone light but probing as we begin to unravel these societal perceptions. Have you ever found yourself saying yes when every fiber of your being was screaming no? Drop a comment and let's get real about our experiences. As we've peeled back the layers on society's glorification of niceness, it's time to confront a tough truth. Niceness, when taken to the extreme, can paint a target on your back, making you vulnerable to exploitation and self-neglect. Let's dive into the darker side of this seemingly virtuous trait. Ever found yourself saying yes when every fiber of your being screamed no? That's excessive niceness in action. It's like handing out free passes to your time, energy, and resources, often leading to others taking your generosity for granted. Manipulative individuals exploiting your good nature, personal boundaries being repeatedly crossed. Imagine a visual metaphor here, a doormat with the word welcome slowly fading from too many footsteps. That's the image of someone who can't say no. Now let's understand why this happens. People-pleasing isn't just about being nice. It's a deep-seated need for approval that stems from our insecurities and desire to be liked. Here's how it erodes our mental well-being. Chronic stress from overcommitting, anxiety over potential conflict or disapproval, depression from feeling unappreciated or unseen. Visualize a pressure gauge steadily rising as the needs of others pile on, a representation of the mounting stress that comes with people-pleasing behaviors. Let's ground this discussion with some real-life anecdotes. Picture Sarah, a go-getter who never turned down a project. Her colleagues praised her helpfulness, but behind closed doors, she was drowning in deadlines and neglecting her family. Then there's Mike, the guy next door who lent money to friends without question. Eventually, he found himself in debt because he prioritized everyone else's financial emergencies over his own stability. These stories are not isolated incidents. They're reflections of a pattern where the cost of unwavering niceness is paid with our happiness and peace of mind. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt taken advantage of because of your kindness? Drop your experiences in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about the true cost of being too nice. Before we move on, if this section resonated with you, don't forget to like and share this video. It could be the wake-up call someone needs. Up next, we're going to look at the power of setting boundaries and how you can assert yourself effectively. Stay tuned. Having peeled back the layers on the downsides of excessive niceness, we now understand that it's not just about being taken advantage of, it's also a matter of self-preservation. It's time we talk about setting boundaries and being assertive, a life raft for those drowning in the sea of over-accommodation. The importance of setting boundaries. Imagine your life as a garden. Without a fence, anything or anyone can trample through, leaving you with a trampled mess. Boundaries are like that fence. They protect your personal space, your values, and your well-being. Here's why they are essential. They define who you are and are not willing to accommodate. Boundaries prevent resentment by ensuring your needs are met. They foster mutual respect in relationships, both personal and professional. Now let's roll up our sleeves and dig into some actionable strategies to assert yourself effectively. Use I statements, I feel or I need, rather than you never or you always. This focuses on your feelings and needs without accusing others. Practice saying no. Start small with things that don't matter much and work your way up. Offer alternatives. When you say no, suggest another solution. It shows you're considerate, even as you stand your ground. Rehearse difficult conversations. Anticipate responses and plan your words ahead of time to reduce anxiety. Assertiveness isn't just about keeping others at bay. It has profound positive effects on our lives. In personal relationships, it helps us communicate more openly and build stronger connections. At work, it leads to better collaboration and can even boost your career prospects. Assertiveness can increase your self-esteem and decision-making confidence. Now I have a question for you. What's one boundary you've set recently, and how has it changed your interactions? Drop your experiences in the comments below, and let's learn from each other. Remember, setting boundaries and being assertive is not about losing your kindness. It's about respecting yourself just as much as you respect others. You can be kind and still stand firm. That balance is the key to healthy, fulfilling relationships. As we've just discussed, setting boundaries and being assertive are crucial for our well-being. But now let's delve into the difference between being authentically kind and being nice just for appearances. This is where we peel back the layers of social expectation and really ask ourselves, are we living true to our feelings, or are we performing an act? Genuine kindness versus performative niceness. Genuine kindness is heartfelt. It's that warm action taken out of pure intention without expecting anything in return. Performative niceness, on the other hand, is a show. It's those polite smiles and agreeable nods that veil our true sentiments, often because we fear disapproval or conflict. Imagine wearing a mask all day, every day. It's exhausting, isn't it? That's the psychological toll we endure when we suppress our true feelings just to appear nice. Over time, this can lead to stress and anxiety, resentment towards others and ourselves, a loss of personal identity. Consider an animation that shows a stress meter rising as someone says yes to every request, symbolizing the mounting pressure of performative niceness. We're often told, just be yourself. But how often do we honor that advice? Prioritizing authenticity means recognizing and honoring your feelings, expressing yourself honestly, yet respectfully, choosing actions aligned with your values, not just what's expected. Let's engage for a moment. How many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? Drop your stories in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about the challenges and triumphs of being our authentic selves. To illustrate, we could show a clip of someone hesitantly agreeing to a favor, then transitioning to a scene where they confidently express their true capacity, their body language relaxed and genuine. By embracing authenticity, we become architects of a life that resonates with who we truly are, rather than mere actors on a stage of niceness. And here's the beautiful part. When we are authentic, our acts of kindness become more meaningful, both to us and to those on the receiving end. Remember, authenticity isn't about disregarding others' feelings, but rather finding a balance where you can be kind without compromising your own integrity. After exploring the fine line between genuine kindness and performative niceness, it's clear that authenticity is key to our mental health. But what happens when we've been too nice for too long? Burnout. That's why self-care and self-compassion are not just buzzwords. They're essential practices to prevent us from fizzling out. Let's talk about how to keep your inner flame burning bright without it consuming you. Why self-care is a non-negotiable. Think of self-care as the oxygen mask on an airplane. You need to secure yours before helping others. It's not selfish, it's survival. Without it, we risk running on empty until we have nothing left to give to others or ourselves. So how do we start? Implement a daily routine that includes time for yourself, even if it's just a few minutes of meditation or a walk around the block. Indulge in activities that make you feel rejuvenated, whether it's a hobby, exercise, or simply reading a book. Ensure you're getting enough sleep, eating nourishing foods, and taking breaks throughout the day to recharge. As you watch these visual cues, think steaming cups of tea, cozy reading nooks, or serene nature walks. Ask yourself, when was the last time I did something just for me? Now on to self-compassion. It's easy to be kind to others, but often we're our own harshest critics. Cultivating self-compassion means treating ourselves with the same kindness we'd offer a dear friend. Practice mindful reflection. Acknowledge your feelings without judgment and give yourself permission to feel them. Use positive affirmations. Remind yourself of your worth and your strengths. Write them down, say them out loud, or even post them where you'll see them daily. Learn to forgive yourself. You're human, and mistakes are part of growth. Embrace them as learning experiences rather than failures. Imagine the relief that comes with lifting the weight of self-criticism off your shoulders. That's the power of self-compassion, the link between self-compassion and well-being. Research shows that self-compassion is directly linked to overall well-being. It can reduce anxiety, depression, and stress. By adopting a more compassionate inner dialogue, we set the stage for a healthier, happier life. Remember, caring for yourself isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. By practicing self-compassion, you're not just being kind to yourself, you're building resilience against life's challenges. And when you're feeling good, you're more capable of extending genuine kindness to others. It's a win-win. Consider this: when was the last time you spoke to yourself with compassion? Can you think of a situation where you could have been kinder to yourself? Share your experiences in the comments below. We're all here to learn and grow together. Before we close out this chapter, take a moment to reflect on your self-care routine. Are there any new strategies you want to try? Start small, but start today. If you found value in this video, hit that like button, share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on living balanced and authentic life. Stay tuned for our next section where we'll tackle overcoming guilt and the obligations we often feel when we choose ourselves first. So, we've just delved into the world of self-care and the pivotal role of self-compassion in safeguarding our mental well-being. Now let's navigate through a challenging terrain many of us face, overcoming guilt and obligations. How often have you felt that pang of guilt when saying no, or found yourself weighed down by commitments that drain rather than fulfill you? It's almost like there's this internal script that casts us as the villain the moment we consider putting our own needs first. But here's a visual for you. Imagine your peace of mind as a serene lake. Each time you say yes when you actually want to say no, it's like throwing a stone into that lake. The ripples distort the tranquility, don't they? Let's talk about how we can keep that water still. Recognize the value of your time. Every yes is a trade-off. Reflect on what you're giving up and ask, is it worth it? Affirm your right to choose. You are the gatekeeper of your life. Affirmations like, "My time matters," can reinforce your right to set boundaries. Start small. Practice with low-stakes situations. Say no to an extra helping at dinner, or turn down a not-so-urgent meeting request. Feeling guilty for taking care of yourself is like feeling guilty for breathing. It's essential for survival. It's time to reframe self-care from a luxury to a necessity. Here's how. Recharge rituals. Establish non-negotiable self-care rituals. Whether it's morning meditation or an evening walk, make them sacred. Communicate clearly. When setting boundaries, be clear and direct. Explain the why behind your no. It's not rejection, it's self-preservation. Redefine selfishness. Ever heard of positive selfishness? It's the idea that by caring for yourself, you're in a better position to care for others. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with rocks, labeled with every obligation you've taken on. Feels heavy, right? Now, picture setting that backpack down. Freeing, isn't it? That's exactly what happens when you release unnecessary obligations. More energy. Your resources aren't infinite. Dropping some weights will let you channel your energy to what truly matters. Enhance focus. When you're not stretched thin, you can focus more intently on your goals and personal growth. Fulfillment over pleasing. Choosing activities and commitments that resonate with you leads to greater fulfillment and happiness. Let me ask you something. What's one obligation you've been carrying that doesn't serve you anymore? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's support each other in shedding these unnecessary burdens. Remember, saying no to others can sometimes mean saying yes to yourself. And that's not just okay, it's vital. As we move forward, keep this in mind. Your value is not measured by your productivity or your ability to please everyone. Stay tuned for our next section where we'll dive into the impact of cultural and gender expectations on our perceptions of niceness. As we've just delved into the art of overcoming guilt and shedding unnecessary obligations, it's time to pivot to an equally pressing issue. Let's discuss how cultural norms and gender expectations have woven themselves into the fabric of what we consider niceness. It's no secret that different cultures hold diverse expectations when it comes to behavior. Niceness is often seen as a virtue, but what does it look like across the globe? Here are some points to ponder. In many Eastern cultures, collective harmony is prized over individual expression, sometimes pressuring individuals to conform to niceness even when it's not genuine. Western societies often celebrate outspokenness and assertiveness, yet paradoxically, they may also expect a veneer of niceness, particularly in service or hospitality industries. Digging deeper, we find that within these broad cultural strokes, there are nuances based on regional, community, and even familial expectations. But what happens when these cultural scripts contradict your personal boundaries? Visualize this: a graph showing the correlation between increased stress levels and the pressure to adhere to these cultural expectations. It's time we question whether our quest to be nice is for our own satisfaction or to fulfill a cultural stereotype. Gender roles have long dictated how one should act, with niceness often disproportionately expected from women. Think about it. Women are typically encouraged to be accommodating and nurturing, to always put others first. Men, on the other hand, are often forgiven for being direct or blunt, under the guise of being assertive or decisive. Ever noticed how these gendered expectations can show up in everyday situations? Imagine seeing a split-screen video comparison. On one side, a woman hesitates to send back a wrong order at a restaurant, while on the other, a man does so without a second thought. So, how do we break free from these molds and redefine kindness on our own terms? We start by acknowledging that kindness doesn't have a gender. It's a human trait that everyone can express in equal measure. Let's promote a culture where being kind doesn't mean being a pushover, regardless of your gender or cultural background. Encourage discussions around emotional intelligence and assertiveness training for all, helping people navigate the balance between being kind and being true to themselves. Imagine a world where kindness is authentic and comes from a place of strength, not obligation. Picture a montage of people from diverse backgrounds engaging in acts of genuine kindness, a testament to a universal language that transcends cultural and gender barriers. Now, I'm curious to hear from you. How have cultural norms and gender expectations influenced your understanding of niceness? Drop a comment below sharing your experiences or thoughts on breaking free from these stereotypes. We've journeyed through the complexities of niceness, from understanding its downsides to learning how to assert ourselves without losing our innate kindness. We've tackled the guilt tied to setting boundaries and looked at how gender and cultural scripts can shape our behaviors. Here's a reflective question for you. Are you living your truth, or are you playing a role scripted by societal expectations? Let's continue this conversation in the comments, and if this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that empowers you to live authentically. For those seeking more resources on self-care and assertiveness, check the description below for helpful links and communities where you can find support and solidarity. Remember, your well-being matters, and it's okay to prioritize yourself. Until next time, keep embracing your journey towards growth and imperfection. Take care. Transitioning from our conversation about cultural and gender expectations, it's evident that redefining kindness is a collective journey. We're not in this alone. Seeking the support of like-minded individuals can be incredibly empowering, especially as we work towards fostering healthier behaviors and boundaries. Have you ever felt a sense of relief when someone just gets you? That's the power of community. When we connect with people who share our values and understand our struggles, we find strength in numbers. Here's why finding your tribe is essential. Empathy and understanding. Surrounding yourself with those who empathize with your journey makes it easier to navigate tough situations. Shared learning. A community provides a space for exchanging ideas, advice, and experiences, helping us to grow together. Accountability. Our peers can help keep us accountable for maintaining healthy boundaries and self-care practices. Fostering healthy behaviors and boundaries. But how exactly does a community foster these healthy behaviors? It's all about the environment we create together. Here's what a supportive community looks like. Safe spaces for dialogue, a place where you can express your thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment or reprisal. Role modeling, seeing others assert boundaries inspires us to do the same. We learn by example. There's a shared resilience that comes from knowing others are facing similar challenges. Now, let's talk about how you can find these communities. Whether online or offline, there are countless spaces where support and camaraderie flourish. Consider these resources. Online forums and social media groups. Look for groups focused on personal development, mental health, or specific interests like mindfulness and assertiveness. Local meetups and workshops. These can offer face-to-face interaction and the chance to form deeper connections. Therapy and support groups. For more structured support, these groups can be invaluable in providing professional guidance alongside peer support. Before we wrap up this section, I want to ask you, have you ever found strength in a community? How did it impact your journey towards setting boundaries and being your authentic self? Share your stories in the comments below. Building on our recent discussion about the support of like-minded communities, it's clear that part of fostering healthy behaviors is allowing ourselves the space to be imperfect. Embracing our imperfections isn't a sign of weakness. It's a brave step towards personal growth. Let's face it, the quest for constant niceness is an exhausting race where the finish line keeps moving. What if I told you it's okay to stumble, to not have all the answers, or to have days less nice than others? It's not just okay, it's human. Giving ourselves permission to be imperfect provides incredible freedom and opens the door to genuine personal growth. By doing so, we learn more about who we are and what we truly value beyond the expectations of others. I remember a time when I was so focused on being agreeable that I said yes to a project I had no interest in. The result? Burnout and a realization that my need to be liked was overshadowing my own needs. But here's the game changer. When I started to say no, I found that people respected me more, not less. And guess what? Those who didn't weren't really in my corner to begin with. It's important to share these stories because they remind us that growth often comes from the uncomfortable process of shedding our nice exterior to reveal our true selves. Imagine if every decision you made was based on your well-being rather than the approval of others. How would that change your life? I want to inspire you to make that shift. Prioritize your growth, your dreams, and your happiness. Sure, there will be bumps along the way, but those bumps are where you'll find your strength, resilience, and ultimately, your real joy. Reflect on moments you've compromised your interests for the sake of niceness. Consider how saying no can open doors to opportunities that align more closely with your passions. Visualize your future self, unburdened by the weight of constant accommodation. As we wrap up this section, think about areas in your life where you can start embracing imperfection. What's one step you can take today towards prioritizing your growth? Before we close out this video, I'd love to hear from you. Share your stories and strategies for embracing imperfection in the comments below. Let's grow together. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with anyone who might find it helpful. And for more insights into self-care and assertiveness, be sure to check out the additional resources linked in the description. Thanks for watching. And there we have it, friends. The winding path through the complexities of niceness and its impact on our lives. We've delved deep into why excessive niceness might not just be a harmless trait, but a potential threat to your mental health and personal growth. We've discussed the downside of being too nice, how it can lead to being taken advantage of, and the toll it takes on our mental well-being. We've also talked about setting boundaries and assertiveness, key practices in maintaining healthy relationships, and standing up for ourselves without compromising kindness. Remember, assertiveness isn't about being unkind, it's about respecting yourself and others. We then explored the crucial difference between authenticity and performative niceness. It's vital to acknowledge and honor your true feelings instead of burying them under a facade of niceness. Plus, we've tackled the importance of self-care and self-compassion. Taking the time to love and care for yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. Throughout this journey, we've addressed the guilt associated with saying no and setting boundaries in overcoming guilt and obligations. And we've analyzed how cultural norms and gender expectations shape our view of niceness and the impact of cultural and gender expectations. Finally, we've highlighted the power of seeking support and building community, as well as the freedom and joy found in embracing imperfection and growth. So now, I want you to ask yourself, in what ways might I be compromising my own well-being for the sake of being excessively nice? How can I start setting boundaries today? This is your moment of self-reflection, to consider where you stand and what steps you can take towards a healthier balance between kindness to others and kindness to yourself. Your thoughts and experiences are invaluable, so let's keep the conversation going. Hit that like button if you found value in our discussion today, or better yet, share your own stories in the comments below. Did an anecdote resonate with you? Do you have tips for others struggling with the same issues? And if you think this video could help someone you know, don't hesitate to share it. You never know how much of an impact it might make. Remember, kindness starts within. By nurturing your own well-being, you empower yourself to offer genuine kindness to others. Here's to living a life where you can be nice without sacrificing